10 years ago, a movie came out that took the world by storm. After Frozen was released in 2013, the kids went wild. Merchandise sales went through the roof, and songs from the soundtrack echoed on radios and televisions and DVD players everywhere. Now, those very same kids, most of whom were in kindergarten and elementary school when the movie came out, are old enough to be in the production of the musical, which opens at West Warwick High School tonight. So, what does it take to turn one of the biggest movies ever into a musical? And what's the difference between the onstage version and the on-screen version? We'll talk to the directors to find out those things and more on this episode of the Words with Wizards podcast.
This is the Words with Wizards podcast, your look at the world through the lens of West Warwick High School. It's where we talk to interesting people, visit cool places, and sometimes hit on a big story. And at the end of it all, you'll learn a little more about what's going on in the land of the orange and black. And now, here's your host, Mr. Eric White.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the show. Today is Friday, March 10th, 2023, and this evening is the opening night for the musical Frozen, the latest production of the WWHS Players. I sat down with co-directors Richard Marchetti and Rikki Spellman earlier this week to talk about the show and how they won the right to be the only high school in Rhode Island to put it on. We also chatted about a few other things. Here's what they had to say. Guys, first of all, congratulations on winning the contest to be the only high school in the state doing the show Frozen.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you. We're very excited.
Let's ask, first of all, just get down to brass tacks here. When and where are the shows, and how can people get tickets?
The shows are, we have 6 shows available. They open on Friday, March 10th, Saturday, March 11th, and Sunday, March 12th. Also, March 17th, March 18th, and March 19th. Mm-hmm. Friday and Saturday shows are at 7 p.m.
Okay.
And the Sunday shows are at 2 p.m.
Gotcha.
If anybody wants to purchase tickets, they can go on our website, www.www.hsplayers.weebly.com, and there's a little order tickets tab on there.
Excellent. We can put that right on the podcast website, too.
Great. Thank you.
Email it out to everybody. And
awesome.
So let me ask this. So first of all, we have Richard Marchetti. Is it co-director?
Co-director, yep. So
okay.
Co-director.
You guys are co-directors.
Yes, we
and
do
Rikki
everything
Spellman.
together.
Let's get you a little closer to this.
Sorry.
That's all right.
I'm so loud.
There we go. Okay. So when and how did you decide to enter the Frozen contest?
Well, what a great question. So I'll go back and answer all the parts. So we typically announce our show for the next year in May. We have a senior showcase. We'll have it at the end of April or May again this year. And at the end, we announce our show for the next year. So we announced Mamma Mia, and we were very excited. We were preparing over the summer, and Mr. Marchetti called me and said, "Hi, I just saw this announcement about the 50 States of Frozen through Music Theater International, which is the licensing company for Mamma Mia and for Frozen." And he said, "I really think we should apply. I think we have a good chance." And so we worked on, there was a pretty extensive application for why we thought our school would be the best representative, not only because of the quality of our productions, but the theme of love is an open door. We thought that the work that West Warwick High School does with Choose Love was a perfect marriage between those two things. Yeah. And so, we answered a lot of questions about that. And probably about a month later, after we submitted the application, we found out that we were the winner for Rhode Island, and then it was announced. So we actually spoke to our senior members of the West Warwick High School Players the day before we announced it to everyone to see if they wanted to continue with Mamma Mia or if they wanted to do Frozen, because they were coming into the year excited for and preparing for Mamma Mia. The school year had already started. Yeah. And they overwhelmingly said that they wanted to do Frozen.
I think every one of them said Frozen. Yeah.
Great. How far were you into Mamma Mia? Had you started rehearsals yet, or you just knew that that's what you were going to do?
No, we had not started at all. So we found out probably the first or second week of school. Mm-hmm. So it was actually great timing because we hadn't started working on Mamma Mia. And because they were through this same licensing company, we were able to switch shows no problem. And so we don't know yet if we'll be doing Mamma Mia next year. You'll have to find out
Yeah.
in May.
Okay. How long have you and the cast been working on this performance, working on getting ready for this performance?
So for this performance, I think I want to say that we started in
December.
late. I think we started auditions in early November. And we have been rehearsing November, December, January, February, and now we are ready to open. I think it was like the very end of November, so it's like 3 months or so.
What's the rehearsal schedule like now? I'm hearing some rumors that there's going to be a very long rehearsal today.
Yes, so typically, through December, January, February, we rehearse after school about 2 hours a day from 2 to 4. Not everyone comes every single day. Most days everyone comes, but some days we work on specific scenes.
Yep.
But now that it is what we call Tech Week, we put all the pieces together. The students had a rehearsal last night, a very exciting rehearsal. It's called the Sitz Probe, where the musicians come in and play, and we sing through everything. So that's when it really starts to feel real.
Yeah.
And today and tomorrow, we will be doing what we call like dry tech runs, which is we start and stop, and we do all the technical elements. And then by Wednesday and Thursday, the band will be here. We'll be doing full runs, hopefully with the musicians, the costumes, lightings, everything.
A dress rehearsal, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. And
Basically.
that's, for till at least 9 tonight, all week. So
Okay. So it's a couple hours after school, but week of the show, you got to put in some more time. Yep.
So we told them all to go home today and then rest after school, and then we'll see them at 4.
Yep. Excellent. Well, thank you for this is during your time of rest. It would usually be right for you guys.
Not for us.
Not for you. Okay. I know the story of a life of a teacher.
That's
or
right.
If you're doing anything extracurricular.
Absolutely.
Is the dinner and a show sold out again this year?
It is sold out this year.
Okay.
It sold out pretty quickly, like it always does. I didn't even really get the chance to advertise it as much as we should have, or could have, I should say, because between the families of our cast members and people who have gone previously, and people who this will be their first time, we sold out pretty quickly. So
Excellent. And that's on the Sunday?
That's on the second Saturday, March 18th.
Okay.
So they'll come in at the dinner will be at 5 o'clock, and then
Yep.
they'll get to see the show at 7.
Fantastic.
So, yeah, it's
Fantastic.
really exciting.
Okay, so a little bit. I'm a parent of an adult who graduated from here not too long ago, and the grandparent of a child who was very into Frozen a while back. Now, I just have to ask. Okay, this movie came out almost 10 years ago. Is it 10 years ago? This coming November, Frozen 2013 came out. Took the country by storm. Every little girl wanted to be Elsa for Halloween for several years after that. And then on the flip side, parents and grandparents of young children were on Frozen overload, during which their kids wanted to watch nothing but Frozen. And I have a friend who I won't name, but teaches at the middle school, and said that she and her husband begged their daughters, please, anything else. But for fantastic movie. People loved it, couldn't get enough of it, right? Has enough time passed since the film's opening to the musical now for people to embrace this version of it?
I think so. We've gotten a lot of feedback from our students that it's very nostalgic because, like you said, it came out about 10 years ago. So
Yes.
they were, pretty much 4 through 8 years old, which is prime Frozen audience. So a lot of them really grew up with Frozen, and it's, brings a little bit of excitement of like, you dreamed to be in the movie and now you kind of are.
Yeah.
And I think that for families, I think enough time has passed. I think that the musical is similar enough to the movie that you get those nostalgic feelings, but there's definitely things that are different. There are songs that are not in the movie. There are some scenes that are a little different. So you'll definitely have some surprises. And, things are always different on stage than they are in a movie, especially an animated movie.
Yes.
So I think there's enough of those touchstones there that it'll bring back the nostalgia of the Frozen that people love. But if you are a little sick of it, then there's enough different stuff thrown in there. It's not overwhelming.
That's great. I mean, I guess when you put something on for Broadway after it's been a movie, you have to put different stuff in there. And I guess the question is, how much different stuff do you put in there where you don't get away from the formula that worked in the first place, so that you're not leaving saying, "Oh, I saw that in the movie theater." So
I also feel that like when you go see anything live and on stage with like real actors performing, I think it gives a different almost persona to those particular characters. So, I'll give you an example. In the movie, Olaf is played by a man. But when they did it in Broadway, the original Olaf was a man, but then they replaced him with a woman. So it's just really interesting to see Olaf as a woman. So it's kind of a different perspective. Our production does have a woman playing Olaf as well. So it's very interesting to me, I think, to see different perspectives like on the certain roles. And I think, and this is my biased opinion, and I did see it on Broadway, and I think that the Broadway music and the way that it's written is much better than the movie, in my opinion.
Oh, great. Yeah, I mean, it was that song, "Let It Go." I mean, as soon as it's an earworm now because I'm thinking of it.
Tell me about it.
Oh my God! But things like that. I mean, you don't get overloaded on something that's not popular and that people don't love.
Right.
I mean, they really, this is just such a great performance to do. I'm curious to see what you guys are going to do next year. I had ABBA playing in my head when I heard Mamma Mia, but no matter what you do next year, I'm sure it's going to be great. And
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anything that you want to put out there for, you have lots of supporters in the playbill, and you don't have to list every single person, but or business or anything, but is there anybody you want to give kudos to for putting this on?
There's so many people. We could never...
you got your amazing tech crew. I think your son is part of that tech crew, right?
Yes, he is. Yes, we have an amazing number of students who have been coming in to paint, to work on costume pieces. Lots of people came in on vacation. They'll be staying late nights all week with us.
Wow.
And, it really is a community effort, and we couldn't do it without all the support of the administration, all the teachers here, so many students, even, students, there's lots of students who don't want to be on stage or don't have the time to commit to being in the show or to the tech group, but that come and see it over and over. And to be honest, like coming and being part of the audience is just as important as being part of the show. We aren't going to perform to an empty audience. So, I think that it's just another way to support your fellow wizards, come and see the show, and that's just as important.
Absolutely. I mean, when you're on, you're both performers. You can tell the vibe of a crowd. Some audiences are better than others.
Totally.
Yeah, I mean, you tell them all that this is your best audience.
That's right.
But you can totally feel it. So having audiences there that are jazzed up, that are really into it, makes a big difference.
And I think that's why people love live theater so much, because it really is an experience. It's not the same as watching it on the internet. There's a lot of controversy in the musical theater community over whether or not you should put on YouTube illegal bootlegs, like when people go and record it, because obviously that's a copyright law violation. But there's also a side to that where some people say, well, not everyone can get to Broadway, and that exposure helps people get exposed to musical theater, but it's not a substitute for live theater. Being there is so different. It's just like if you've ever been to like a Patriots game, it's so different than watching it. There's nothing wrong with watching it at home, but it's such a different vibe. And coming out and seeing it is so different than watching Frozen the movie or watching, like a YouTube video of an online performance.
I agree. And the Patriots offense was much worse in person than it was on TV. Okay, I'm sorry. Hey, thank you both. You guys work so hard. I think all three of us, we leave the building sometimes.
It's usually our 3 cars that are left in the lot when we leave.
Exactly, and but you guys, you have a lot more moving parts, and just to coordinate that whole thing. My hat is off to you, and I can't wait to see this. My granddaughter's excited. Awesome. She's like, Frozen, I already saw it. No, this is different. We're going to come and we're going to do this. And
this is an experience.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So next time I got to jump on dinner and a show a little earlier.
Yeah.
I didn't.
It sells out so quickly. It's crazy.
Well,
it's a good problem to have.
I think related to selling out, we should mention to people listening to this podcast that if you have not gotten your tickets yet, theoretically, we're selling tickets at the door, but there are shows that are already getting close to that selling out point. And we are under very strict guidelines from Disney and also because of like fire regulations.
Yes.
So there is a chance that if you come to the show and you didn't buy a ticket ahead of time, you might get turned away. We'll definitely post that on our Instagram, which is at WWHS Players. But, if you're like, oh, I'm just going to wait till the day of, especially the Sunday shows where people are going to bring their younger kids, those are getting really close to selling out. So I would just tell people we have that Flash Friday sale coming up for West Warwick High School students this Friday during lunch. And you can also buy them online. Like you said, I think you're going to post the website, and it's also in our Instagram bio.
Yeah, so we'll put all the ways that you can buy online. We'll put it there, and good luck. Break a leg.
Thank you so much.
Right, thanks.
Thanks for tuning in, and special thanks to Riley Maynard for producing the show in studio. All music and sound effects for the podcast come from WeVideo, SpeechLO, and My Instance, which I use along with Audacity to produce the show. This has been a presentation of the Media Broadcasting and Journalism Pathway at West Warwick High School. If you're a student interested in learning more about radio, TV, and journalism in general, then you can get in touch with me, Mr. White, at ewhite@ww-ps.com. More information about the pathway is also below on the YouTube version of this show. You can also listen to the Words with Wizards podcast on Spotify and Google. The pathway and shows like this are not possible without sponsor support. Part of being a sponsor is that you and or your business can get exposure on this and other pathway broadcasts. Funding goes toward the purchase of new equipment, student scholarships, and professional development. You can find more information on sponsorships, which are tax deductible, at the bottom of the YouTube version of this podcast. Have an idea for the show? Visit the Words with Wizards webpage at www.hstv.com. There's a form on the page that you can fill out to let me know about your ideas for the show. We'll be back soon with more Words with Wizards. Until then, stay safe and stay informed.